Hello everybody, my name is Caronfire and welcome back to Soulmass. Today we're going to be going over food buffs and all sorts and what kind of buffs you can stack on yourself in the game. Welcome to my base. Join this girl's cooking show today as we go and have a look inside at our foodie options. So in Soulmass you can get several different buffs. You can get one called a staple food. You'll usually see what kind of food it is when it is in the description of the food item. So cooked potato is a staple food. Something like quinoa porridge is also a staple food that can provide different buffs. You can't stack quinoa porridge with cooked potato because they're both staple foods, so they will stand alone as one buff. It's just whatever you prefer the statistics of, whatever's easier to cook for you. Now if we move over to something like broth, that has in the brackets it says meat. So this is a separate buff. Now anything with meat, you can have that as a separate buff, and you can pair it with a staple food and have two buffs running at the same time. Like the staple food though, you can only have one meat buff running at a time. Hopefully that makes sense. These are not the only two buffs you can put on yourself, by the way, as well. You can put other buffs, such as this psychedelic pot is a fruit and vegetables. So that will be also a separate buff I can put on myself. That is 3 buffs. Looking really good. Now these kind of foods are not the only buffs you can put on yourself. You can also put a beverage on yourself as well to give yourself even more buffing with your food. So it's definitely worth utilizing and using different food buffs. They can be very powerful, and there are a bunch of types. There are even foods such as boiled eggs that isn't a classification of buffs. It's just you say like you munch the boiled egg, it's not going to pop up on the side in your F10 menu of buff details. However, if I'm going to eat the porridge, I'm going to eat the premium jerky, and I'm going to eat the pot of mushrooms. You're going to see I've got 3 different stacks here. You see they're all stacking in different categories with different pictures. So that works. But if I do eat the potatoes, just for example, that is a staple food, that's going to override my porridge. So you're going to see cooked potato instead of the porridge in there now as well. So yeah, you can have quite a few different stacks. It's not only this as well that you can have as a beverage. You can also have something else if you get things like booze. Let me see if I have any. Yes, I do. That is a recreational buff as well, which you can stack on top as well, which tends to only really come from booze. So there you go. Now I've got loads of buffs running that's really going to help me in the game. Going to give me more stamina, more satiety, more hydration, poison resistance. Different foods can do lots of different things. Now let's pop to the knowledge and technology tree and see where it all starts. Well, it all starts at food processing, and you can get this at awareness strength 8. You can unlock yourself your very first thing, the cooking stove. Even though, well, to be honest, you can go much earlier than that as well. You could start it with a campfire and cook yourself some meat in there. But if we want to go more advanced, it would be the stove. In here, you can unlock different things, different recipes like this. So you can get different things. You can hover over them and see what that unlocks. So you got your staples. You can have mushroom soup. That's for fruits and vegetables. And different types of beverages you can make, as long as you can find the stuff you need to make these. Status dissipation soup is also really handy when it comes to protecting you and your mounts from radiation and things like that, so this will be very important to make or find out in the world. The next upgrade from there is premium food, where you unlock more recipes such as premium steak, which can give you better buffs. Tortillas, you can get refined salt as long as you farm salt mines, which can help you make jerky later on. And you can make a bunch of things that will help you make better things such as chili sauce locusts and sourced meat. You can also make pumpkin salad's really good as well. If you can get your hands on some pumpkin, that's very, very, very handy. From there, it is your drying technique foods, which you'll need awareness strength 18 for. You'll get the drying rack, and here's where you can make some really powerful meat foods. So you could have the premium jerky. That's going to help with a lot of buffs. So you got max HP plus 100. That's pretty cool. Or you could do the smoked ham, which is even better. That's like double what the premium jerky does. However, it does use premium jerky, so that makes sense. You can also have frozen potato for recipes. and dried tobacco. Now, this will tie into our next slot up here, which I'll go over in a second. But first we have our brewing. So with the brewing, of course, if you want that recreational buff, if you don't want to just, yoink it from camps, then of course you're going to need to unlock brewing to unlock all the alcohol options. That's the thing. And we're going to go further up the list. We have oil. This is going to be really useful in higher end cooking. You're going to want to invest in a lot of seed farms and all that. Seed and nuts, all that good stuff. And here, cuisine processing at awareness strength 30 is probably the strongest one you can do. This is where you unlock the worktop and you can craft things like fish hosh posh, spicy soup, rare fried steak, all sorts of things. Now they will be more difficult to make. Usually will all take cooking oil as well for most things, but you can get some pretty powerful buffs once you unlock these. The fried pumpkin rings are absolutely fantastic for stamina. Highly recommend. And you can also get some interesting things such as cigars, which you would have made if you dried tobacco with the dryer. Now, the cool thing about the cigars, I can't believe I'm saying that because honestly it's not cool. It's bad, no. But either way, the cool thing with this item in game is if you are sleepy and let's say, let me see my sleepy meter. You can see my little sleepy meter down there is red. If I take one of these and wait a little bit, this will help me with my rest. So it will help me feel more rested and make me last longer when I have one of those. It will also make me more crit resistant. So if you are sleepy out on the go, you could just nosh a bunch of those and they should help you feel a lot less sleepy or like prevent it going down more. So let's pop over to these stations, shall we, because that should be useful. Here's the cooking pot, here's the drying rack, here is the worktop, being your end game type of thing. You're going to need to fuel it with different things like cola and charcoal for this. But it will be worth dipping into some of these recipes, honestly. They will help you down the line and it will be like nice buffs to have. However, like all things, the higher level stuff is always more expensive. I do really like it for the beverages though, like Yerba Mate is really kind of handy when it comes to poison situations. If you're doing a poison dungeon or something like that, that can help with that. And it can help with radiation as well, which is really handy. And the ice cocoa could be really good for the snow, and when it gets really cold you could use not the ice cocoa is the ice cocoa is really good for the desert. Sorry, I'm thinking of the hot cocoa, which is over here. That is embarrassing. Yeah, there you go, you got your opposite here, hot cocoa. That can help you with the cold. And then you have your opposite in the other one. Sorry about that. In the cooking pot, you can also make feeds as well for your animals, which should be pretty good. It won't decay like corn will, etc. And you can make a bunch of food in here. Like you can make tons of really good food in the first one, honestly. Now, what do I kind of recommend when it comes to food? Honestly, in most places you can't go really that wrong. Whatever you're doing more is kind of what you want to, get the stuff for. If you're doing a crit build character type deal, then maybe you want to eat lots of food that help buff that, etc. I like this one for the XP efficiency. That's pretty cool. Like the quinoa porridge, that's quite neat. Roast pumpkin is quite nice early on because that can provide you a nice little stamina bonus right there, which can be really handy in a tough moment. If you can afford to make it though, pumpkin salad is the one up from that, and that is also really good because that gives you the same stamina uplift, but it's by more than it would be with a roasted pumpkin. When it comes to meats, you could try the sourced meat. That's really quite good. Or I do find drying rack meats are pretty good as well. I mean, premium jerky is not bad to make at all, and it's really solid. Smoked ham is like, that is really, really good if you can get your hands on it, etc. Or if you want to be real saucy, then you could also try fried rest steak. Although, you see this one, it will give you also 200 HP. However, this one's like plus 10 HP per second when consumed. Fried pumpkin ring is the upgrade from the pumpkin salad. That is really, really good if you can get your hands on that. You'll need honey for that though, which is done with the beehive, which isn't too bad. And then you just need to make bee drawing syrup in a brewing stand, which can be made with papaya, pineapple, and then either guava or banana. So you might want some monkeys to help you harvest fruits and stuff like that, because then you can get a bunch. Then you can grow some honey out here and some beeswax as well. With all this type of thing when cooking, I will say having yourself a farm and all that, and a active farmer is always very helpful on this type of thing as well. Definitely worth investing in the food either way. You're going to have to feed your NPCs regardless. They're going to moan about staples, fruits and veg and meats either way, so you're going to want to kind of dip into that either way. Maybe give them the cheaper food and you take the more fancy food. But either way, let me know your favorite foods in the comments down below and why. Maybe share it with the people you know that, and you know, that's a little food tips thing. The most important thing here to remember, of course, is stacking multiple buffs of food. It's not just one at a time, but that's the kind of point I wanted to get across the most. And then, like, just tell you about the different types of cooking you can do in the game. Either way, I hope this video has been helpful. Thank you for watching. I love you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye!